guys. Don't like that.
No. No. If anyone at any point in the podcast wants me to look up a movie in the Video Hound, it has to be
before 1998, really.
Yeah.
Is Godzilla in there?
Alright.
No.
Oh, it might be.
Well, some Godzillas are in there.
Well,
Godzilla's Revenge got one bone.
Well, Godzilla came out in 98. 2.5 bones.
Wow.
Seems generous.
So is it bones are a good thing, and then wolf is...
Yes,
wolves are
maximum
bad?
of 4 bones. One wolf means that it has no value.
Yeah.
A wolf means that it's like less than a 0.
Okay.
It has no value to cinema.
But 4 bones means it's
4
100.
bones is a perfect film.
Yeah.
Why not 5?
Hey, we're not the Hound.
Yeah, I say, why are you questioning that?
We ain't the Hound.
Welcome to Backlog Media, episode 2. I think this is the first official.
This is the first episode, yeah.
The first official second
This
episode.
is the first second episode. Because we have like a test, and then we have a pilot.
Of Backlog Media. It's a podcast where we talk about a whole bunch of stuff that we like. Movies, games. Maybe we'll talk about some comic books and some vid games. We already said vid games. Music. Maybe we'll talk about some music tonight, guys.
I like that. I like when my ears hear things.
My name's Ant. I'll be your host tonight. Ethan's fired. He's gone.
Ethan sucked.
Kinda sucked. Couldn't get his shit together, so he's out.
I'm Eric.
What? It's Alive 2?
No, yeah, this is some real bullshit that we have to address immediately. It's Alive 2 got a woof on this. It's Alive 3 got one bone.
For the viewers who might not know, this is the Video Hound's Golden Movie Retriever 1999, the complete guide to movies on video cassette, laserdisc, and DVD.
Laserdisc too?
Laserdisc.
Yes. And beta, right?
Yeah, but
Also
it doesn't say that
Betamax.
on the front.
Yeah.
I guess that includes video cassette.
Yeah.
So, It's Alive 2 is apparently, according to the Video Hound, not as good as It's Alive 3. You know, okay. Every viewer knows that It's Alive 2 is better than It's Alive 3, but
Yeah, it's like...
Video Hound is God.
It's very ridiculous to posit anything else. I'm Dakota.
I'm RJ.
I'm Ward. I got Joe.
Oh.
Oh. Hi, guys. Don't like that.
No.
No.
He's really angry because no one liked her movie.
Isn't she canonically dead now?
Yeah.
Well, canonically, I was going to say
Wars.
canonically
Yes.
female, but yes, canonically a corpse.
Godzilla's interests include fish, laying eggs, intimidating chihuahuas, and
Hunting Matthew Broderick.
Almost stepping on Hank Azaria.
dying to Sum 41.
Ah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's how I want to go.
The 90s were a disease. So, speaking of diseases and scary stuff, did anyone happen to see Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
I did not.
I saw that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched it with my eyes. It was pretty good.
Yeah, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was alright. It was maybe the worst theater-going experience I've had so far this year.
What, really?
In
Yeah,
what regard?
it was,
What happened?
Not to rehash something that has been talked about on a popular podcast that all of us enjoy.
Yes.
Horror films attract the worst human beings. And when they're accessible to 13-year-olds, then it's even fucking worse.
Yeah, I didn't really consider that because, that movie, I assume, was rated PG-13.
It is.
So,
Conversely, we had a pretty good theater experience, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get
Very
into the
good
actual
theater
quality of the movie, we got to talk about our respective theater experiences. Ours, the part where one of the characters eats a stew and puts the toe in his mouth that's in the stew. A person very audibly in the theater went, ugh.
It was so loud that it almost sounded like it was coming from the movie.
Yeah.
It was right up front.
We were towards the back.
Yeah, because the movie theater we saw it in used to be an actual classical theater, so it has it's designed for acoustics, so sound just carries.
Yeah.
So I feel like this guy thought he was doing it quietly, but it was just it was so loud.
That's the grossest thing he's ever seen in a movie.
Feel free to bleep this, but on the opposite side of the coin, when the kid put the toe in his mouth, the funny man in my theater said, "Gay." So that was my theater experience.
Aren't toes gay?
Yeah.
Dude.
Who has toes?
Fellas, is it gay to have toes?
Fellas?
So Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is a collection of horror stories for children. And that's the movie. So the movie is that there's a book full of scary stories that they find in a spooky basement.
And it's dark when they find it.
Yeah. And they take the book home, and the stories are starting to write themselves. So they start to realize that the stories are about them, and the horror ensues. My problem with the movie, and this is sort of nitpicky, the books do a really good job at writing that line of like these are children's stories, but they're enjoyed by all. The movie does not do a good job at writing that line for being for kids.
You think it's too adult?
I think it's too. I think the monsters and the actual horror of it are too adult. The acting and the people in it, clearly for children. And that's not a slight against anybody that's in the movie, but the movie itself is. I did not feel like it was for children.
I would argue that as a little boy who had those books, the illustrations of those books were not for children.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're terrifying, and if anything, now that I'm a fully grown man, I think children should have to endure that. Because for anyone who doesn't know, those books have really classical illustrations, just throwing up. And they got sanitized like a few years back in a new edition, where they made them like really, really like tame.
No, I saw that.
And in some ways, I would almost argue kind of like rob those books of their identity. Because if those illustrations were like that way back when, no one would talk about these books at all. They're all like public domain scary stories. And I think that's actually, like, I'm cool with the fact that it wasn't for kids.
I thought that only a couple of the parts were riding the line of being too adult. I thought the rest of it was tame enough that, like a couple of characters die, but the other characters don't die.
Like the part where they're like, my sister's gone, and it's just like, oh, she
got covered in spiders.
That's a very...
They act like she's dead, though.
No, like,
well, the cop says...
Yeah, the cop...
I don't want to give too many spoilers, but the cop says she's in the nut house, she's crazy for life.
Yep.
And it's like, how did you determine this?
He does it just to dunk on the kids, too.
Yeah.
Specifically just they're like, hey, look, we saved her. And he's like, oh, did you? Bet you're real proud of yourself.
I will say that with the illustrations being brought up from the book, I guess where it does work is that the illustrations are the scariest parts of the book. So, like, the monsters in this movie are rightfully the scariest part of the movie. Mm-hmm. But it just doesn't... I don't want to compare it to Goosebumps. But
I want to compare it to Goosebumps.
It's, like, impossible to not compare it to Goosebumps.
Goosebumps was an utter failure, and because... I thought this movie succeeded where Goosebumps failed, because Goosebumps did not try to be scary at all.
Exactly.
It was a straight-up comedy. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, this movie would be amazing, I feel, if I saw it when I was, like, young, I don't know, bordering on being a teenager, probably.
See, and that's one thing I liked about the books way back when, too, is a lot of, like horror, like, I don't know, like, young horror, even as a little kid, to me, always felt, I don't know, like, almost, like, patronizing, because it's, like, it's not scary. They're just like the door closed on its own. Woo! And that's it. That's all you get. And as a kid, that's not scary. I grew up in the age of cable TV. I'm not terrified. I mean, like, really though, like, it's not scary.
Yeah.
But when I'm like flipping through a book and it's like, oh, there's a woman in the house and she's spooky, and then you turn the page and there's like a gaunt woman with no eyes covered in spider webs, her teeth are like falling out.
Yeah.
I like
illustrations.
Almost wanted to throw the book across the room. But I came back for more, and then I got the other two books, because I'm like, these really freak me out, and I wanted that as a kid. Because it's like the only thing, and only books that like really did that to me as a little kid.
Just out of curiosity, how old would you say you were when you actually read those?
I think I was
That's a good question.
7 or 8.
Okay.
I was pretty young. I was
around the age that I read them too.
Yeah, I was definitely in grade school. I was like midway through grade school.
I have a very vivid memory. It's probably trauma now that I say it out loud. reading the Toe story in the 3rd grade and crying my eyes out on Halloween because I couldn't.
Oh, is it because you thought it was so gay?
I definitely made my mom hide my copies in her sock drawer so they couldn't get me. Because I felt like they were cursed, literally cursed. I was like, yeah, I can't be dealing with these moving around my house at night.
I hid mine under piles of other books and stuff because I don't know, you're a little kid and it's I've created a barrier. It's when you put a blanket over your head. It's monsters can't get me because they're stupid.
Yeah, I never actually owned the books. I'm sure I would have done the same thing if I did, but friends had them and the library had them. They did a surprisingly good job of translating the illustrations to the screen because I feel that doesn't always go well.
Almost 1-to-1, and part of me feels like the reason that there was such meticulous focus in making those right, I would assume had something to do with Guillermo del Toro producing it, and that he was probably real on top of that. And he's made so many monster movies. I think he knows how to make a monster be a monster, and that it was the thing with the Jangly Man. I didn't even know that was mostly practical because they got. Channel Zero as a series that Sci-Fi had for a while that was based on internet creepypastas. Sounds like garbage. Actually, it was really good.
Yeah,
and the last season had a character named Pretzel Jack who's a contortionist clown. Mm-hmm. They got the guy that did that to do the Jangly Man stuff because he can just bend through bars and stuff and move in really unsettling ways. So I thought that was really neat.
The that monster in particular was sort of where the movie lost me a little bit because there's no real setup. They're not necessarily reading the story at that point. They don't know what story's coming next, and out of nowhere, that one kid is just the Jangly Man is coming, and it's okay.
RJ properly compared that to a moment in Dana Carvey's Master of Disguise. Very good movie, by the way. 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Loved it as a kid, and I love it for different reasons now. Where Dana Carvey is
the titular Master of Disguise.
He's disguised as a man made out of cherry pie, and he emerges from a pie, and every guard, when they see him, instead of saying "Oh shit," because that's a weird thing to see, they just point and say, "It's the Cherry Pie Man! Get him!"
It's a really good bit.
They've run into the Cherry Pie Man before, and it has not been a man in disguise. This entity is a blight.
Master of Disguise has my favorite IMDb trivia of all
time.
Is
this... We're talking about the turtle.
Oh, yes, right?
Yes, a moment of silence.
Where they held a moment of silence on set while he was wearing the turtle costume because 9/11 happened.
9/11 also happened during the filming of The Room, and they also had a moment of silence there, so there was a lot going on in terms of movies being made.
So speaking of 9/11, I know you wanted to talk about an Ernest film.
Oh, jeez.
Just gonna kill it with the segues tonight,
I saw Ernest Goes to Africa.
Thank you for that.
Oh, a little funny. I have some, there's multiple ways to watch Ernest Goes to Africa, and no one else saw it, so I don't want to bore y'all, but I took some timestamps down here. Number 1, this is the most distressing part. Ernest doesn't get to Africa until 27 minutes and 53 seconds into the film, so you can just start the movie there. Pretty distressing, at 34 minutes and 56 seconds, he puts on full-body blackface, so he really doesn't waste his time. He really hits the ground running. Less than 10 minutes after entering Africa. We're looking next at 50 minutes and 51 seconds, in which Ernest has to stop at a village and ask for help, at which point he steps out of his golf cart, says, "I know how to talk to these people."
Oh god.
And then goes forward to speak Zulu. I want you all to do a little exercise real quick here.
No,
hold on. No, hey. Picture in your minds.
Let's hear them out.
Picture in your minds and at home what this scene might entail. Just picture what this scene might entail.
I already know.
I think I have a good idea.
You're all right.
Very cool.
He does it all. He does it all. He does everything he could.
Oh wow.
There's a big scene in the middle where he enters a harem. But I can't really digest this scene. I don't really know what happens during this point.
It doesn't sit well.
It doesn't sit well. It can't really get it down. I took a lot of notes at 75 minutes and 2 seconds because this is a very complex and layered scene. A lot of movies wouldn't try to attempt something like this. What you have next is Ernest gets abducted by a cannibal tribe, and he's almost cooked in a big pot covered in skulls. But he has a yo-yo on him, and he does yo-yo tricks so they think he's a wizard, and then they make him king of the tribe. At which point, Ernest, there's a female lead with him, and he has the high priest arrange a marriage between them against her will. And then the chief is just like, sounds good. The high priest says, sounds good, and pulls out a knife, at which point the most outrageous event in the entire movie...
What's the knife for?
Well, Ernest... the most outrageous and unbelievable moment in this movie occurs at 77 minutes and 49 seconds after the high priest pulls out his knife. And this really, like, fucked up the character of Ernest for me. Like, I don't think I can watch it anymore. Ernest reveals through dialogue that he's circumcised.
Oh?
Which is outrageous. Frankly speaking.
Is it outrageous because he reveals that he's circumcised? Are you saying
Okay,
it's
hold on.
outrageous that he...
Let's do an exercise.
I don't know if you've got some
Let's do an exercise.
something against.
Hey,
Yeah,
no. Let's do
the
let's do a circumcision bit real quick. Let's do an exercise.
Okay.
Goofy the dog is circumcised.
Probably.
Oh, I don't agree. He never struck me as the type. I see Ernest, and I don't think circumcised.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
I think it's outrageous.
I think that just fucked the whole character up.
He reveals that he's circumcised. I don't think it's outrageous that he's circumcised.
Yeah. Well, it's just that's like the whole bit is that he's just like, no, I'm already circumcised. But like, I don't know.
I mean, it could be worse. He could be begging them to circumcise.
You know, he kills a guy and goes home. It's like pretty, you know. But the cool thing about Ernest Goes to Africa, mainly, is that like, it was like fucked up and racist.
yeah.
But like, I didn't have to see any other movies like that. So,
Oh.
Yeah, because we all watched what I would describe as a very progressive film
yeah.
recently.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
We watched Be Natural. It's a pretty good movie about the first female director, and I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, Elise Guy Blaché.
Yeah, there's no other like fucked up and racist movies I can remember watching that.
No.
And did you see anything recently?
Yeah.
You see anything fucked up and racist recently?
Yeah. On your own, with no one else around?
No. In fact, I didn't think this movie. I thought it was pretty charming.
Yeah.
And had a really good message for.
What was it called?
It was called Loqueesha.
Oh, wait, so this was... Okay, it's called Loqueesha.
Yes.
Is it uplifting?
No, is it written by a black woman?
Would you describe it as uplifting and edifying?
No, it's very much written by a white man.
What?
Hold. Well,
I'm starting to understand that maybe I saw something that wasn't so savory.
Oh.
Yeah.
But in the movie, hold on, in the movie...
Well, it was just written by a white guy who directed it.
The guy who's starring in it. I don't remember.
I'm gonna look up his name. So what makes it really good is I looked him up, and he has a public Facebook profile that I can message.
He does a lot of
I can heckle him from afar.
Do we want to message him tonight?
I don't want to do it for my account, but
I advocate we do it.
I mean, I'll do it.
okay. So anyway, this here fella's name is Jeremy Saville.
Oh yes, that's his name.
Wait, what's his name?
Jeremy Saville.
Set it up.
Not Jimmy Savile.
We're gonna talk about a film that sort of. It became, the trailer became sort of viral for like a hot minute on the internet for a film called Loqueesha about a white man who is trying to get a job at a radio station, and he is denied his job but then reapplies as a black woman and gets the job, and now is becoming very popular and famous as a radio host, as Loqueesha.
And he's doing a black woman voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should we just say heavy spoilers for Loqueesha?
Yeah.
If you're dying to watch Loqueesha,
Quit watching this.
Skip ahead.
Please watch Loqueesha.
No, actually,
Give them
don't
view
skip ahead.
counts.
Pause this right now and watch Loqueesha.
Where's it on?
It's
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Do we really want people to in
No.
any capacity
No.
experience this?
I mean, if they want
They
to.
will now because we talked about it.
I definitely don't want to encourage people to watch this, but if for some reason you're like morbidly curious, like if you're dying to know what this fucking movie is, then fine, go ahead and watch it.
Well, we're going to tell you anyway.
I think we're going to get really into the guts too, so...
It's very much just worth getting into.
No, I have better advice. Watch the trailer, then come back.
Yeah. You know what? That's
really all you need.
Don't watch the whole movie. Just watch the trailer.
That'll give you a taste. And I mean, if you like what you saw,
yeah.
I don't know what to do.
It's up to you, though.
Leave a comment about how you feel about Joe based on the trailer.
Yeah.
And we'll tell you what you can do with yourself.
What makes me most mad about Joe and his character is that he is not even attempting to do... There's no good way to say this. He's not even attempting to do a black woman's voice.
Yeah.
I would argue that he's not even attempting to do a woman's voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I should have said.
Yeah.
So go ahead and cut that out.
Yeah.
Cut that out.
Leave it in.
Dump it.
Yeah, cut it. Get that
Leave
out
it
of
in.
there. Don't want anything that could point me as to being racist, because I'm perfect in every single way.
The character of Joe is doing a character of, a person named Loqueesha, who is an aged Cajun man. It's an old Cajun man.
I would agree.
That's accurate.
Joe is fucked up, so Joe doesn't have really anyone to antagonize him in this movie other than the woman that he hires late in the film who vaguely who has to be shown her place.
Can we talk about... I'm just going to call him Loqueesha because I forgot his actual name. What's his character's name?
Joe.
Joe, thank you.
He's an average Joe, just like you and me.
Let's talk about Joe's producer. How he gets his producer and how okay his producer is with
Every
the
single
situation.
black character in this movie is an object.
We gotta start from the beginning, though.
Yeah.
Why does Joe become Loqueesha? It's because his
fucking SJW is an affirmative action.
No, it's because his ex-wife...
He walks in his ex-wife's big echoey cave house.
His ex-wife says, our son is very gifted, which... I don't know what that means, but we've got to send him to the private school. Or I don't know how they phrase it. I don't know if his son is gifted or his son is gifted, but they say they have to send him to a special school that costs $1 billion, and he's like, well, he's got to go to the special school, and it's a private school, I assume. And it's he's got to go to the school, and he's just a simple bartender. He's like.
But only
I'm just tending my bar.
You actually
I don't know.
left
There's
out a detail.
nothing
You left
to
out an
him.
important detail. He only needs the money for a single semester at this school.
Yeah.
Because there's some ambiguous scholarships this kid can get otherwise.
Yeah.
So we're framing this he really only needs to, I guess, Loqueesha up for a couple months.
Yeah.
He gets the money 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. Well, this is also a study about fame.
Well, it's
and how power corrupts.
It's a lot like Breaking Bad.
But even then, even then, there's a scene where he takes calls on the radio and he gives advice, as we all know.
Oh, does he ever?
But there's a scene, I think maybe
Debatably.
45 minutes into the movie with a whole hour left where he takes a call from himself to sort of hash out the stuff that's going on.
The
in his
Pagliacci
head.
moment.
Yes.
But Doctor, I am Loqueesha.
He solves that problem in 5 minutes, and there's an hour left.
I thought the movie was genuinely going to take a turn into being some shit about identity.
Yes.
Well, he self-affirms that he's in the right, but in that moment,
and then it just
he's like, I as a white man can do this because I'm doing good for people.
Yeah.
I'm not a racist. And I have a black friend.
He says to himself.
Yes, to himself.
We've got to back up because, he has a black friend. He hires him.
His friend / producer also defends him adamantly
at
every turn.
We need to talk about the black characters in this movie because they exist.
As Eric has already pointed out, they are all props.
Yes, they're all props. They all exist to...
Do you want to start the beginning with his love interest?
Yeah, he has a love interest.
Who shows up in his bar, and then he calls her a stupid...
Oh
fucker.
yeah,
he's just really mean.
Super long incel rant.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
Okay,
he gives a big rant about how nice guys finish. He's just a jerk.
No, I never watched this movie.
Fuck!
Yeah.
I'm the only one who has not seen this.
You're fine. You're
good.
You're the only sane person here.
But a woman walks into his bar and she's like, "I'm having relationship troubles," and Joe. Fucking Joe. He's like, well, it's your fault. And she's like, "You're so wise, Joe."
Well, hold on. Something happens in between that.
Okay.
He does a very funny accent.
Oh, I
forgot about that.
This is to establish that Joe. This is to establish that Joe is funny, and he can do accents really good. And also, he's a racist. And these are the 3 things that we have to learn about this character right from the get-go. Mm-hmm. We have to know all of these things. He does a big funny Indian guy accent. And then she's like, wow, you're so funny and wise.
Specifically, he's doing a Gandhi impersonation.
Yes.
Then the second black character in the movie, he goes to a bar and he finds a random black guy and he's like, okay, and here's...
Does he go to a bar or does he come into his
bar?
No,
the guy comes to his bar.
Right? Okay.
Because
he offers him free drinks for life.
Just the fellow I was looking for.
He's like, also, is he in a position where you can offer him free drinks? Because he doesn't own the bar.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
he doesn't own the bar.
So it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
No. I want to point
his boss
this
loves
out.
him and hates him and loves him.
I want to point this out, though. This is something that no black man would ever go along with. Because before he even knows what's going on, because Joe walks up to him and said, "Hey, why don't you come into the back with me?" And it's like, no. He goes into the back with Joe, and then Joe is like explains that he's doing a mammy character on public radio, and then because he needs like a producer, and then this guy's just like, as long as you pay me, I'm cool with it. Well, and then from there on out, for the rest of the movie, this guy's complicit.
The lead into that too is that he's like, he goes up to this guy and he's like, "Do you want to come into the back room with me?" And then they go into the back room and he's like, "So I got a big secret, you can't tell anyone." yeah. And then the guy's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
He's like, "I want to be Loqueesha."
No, he is Loqueesha at that point.
Yeah.
He's already Loqueesha. He's like, I'm Loqueesha.
I am become
Loqueesha.
Yeah. Giver of advice.
Yeah, all of that stuff happens.
I thought it was great that Oprah offered them a TV show.
Oh, yeah. That's so generous.
Yeah.
But that's when he starts to realize that maybe it's not about the money. It's about helping people.
You forgot another character. The actress.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the actress.
So eventually they end up having to hire a woman to be the face of Loqueesha.
I thought that happened out the gate or something.
No, it happens way late in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I want to say after he has his like discussion. Does it happen after he takes
happens
the call
around
from
there?
Friend.
I'll be honest, when I watched this, time kind of like distended and shrank a lot.
Yeah.
It was like it entered some sort of like pocket dimension.
Can we just do a show of hands? Did anybody watch this movie sober?
Yeah.
I wasn't drunk.
Yeah, I wasn't drunk.
I was drinking, but I was not drunk.
RJ and I were stone cold sober for this.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I was on
That's
antibiotics,
really
so I didn't get an option. Can we talk about the suicide scene?
Oh yeah, that for me was...
I'm sorry. What?
Do you not remember this?
The scene where the woman's like out of...
You legitimately cannot tell if they're pulling one over.
No, not even a little.
Oh my god.
It's in the trailer.
Look,
it's in the trailer.
From what I read from your guys' text, like in our like movie group chat, you and Ant seem to hate this shit the most, so I'm not surprised you erased it from your mind.
I forgot about the suicide scene.
Yeah, so someone calls into the radio show, and they're like, "No one needs me, I'm gonna jump," and it's built up. And then... I am not going to do Loqueesha's voice.
Well,
I think you should.
I don't think I have it in me to be an aged crawdad fisherman.
Yeah. It'll be a cool bit.
But,
it's a lot of character building for Joe, because when she calls in, his producer's like, "I have a woman on the line that says she's going to kill herself.
Should I call horror music over that shit?
Yeah, should I contact somebody about this?" And Joe goes like, "Nah.
Yeah.
I've got this." And in a lot of movies, that would be the point where, like, Icarus has flown too close to the sun, and he has to face the fact that he's just been, like, doing abhorrent shit for, like, a few months now. But instead, Joe does it, because he's very smart and good.
She does the whole thing where she's like, "I'm gonna jump and all that," and then he's just like, "Just do it. Just jump. No one cares. Doesn't matter. Fuck it. Fuck you. Who gives a shit?" And then she's like, "Well, what do you mean people don't care about me?" He's like, "Yeah, no one cares about you." And he just like berates. It's like, "Yeah, this is exactly what you do in this situation. You just encourage the person."
It's tough love.
Yeah, it's tough love, and then it like works. Everyone.
That's his brand.
People flood the streets and chant Loqueesha.
Well, that's the set. No, that's the setup.
All four extras this movie has.
It's tough love into advice, and the tough love is you should kill yourself. Kill yourself. You suck. Nobody would care anyway. And then she's like. I just feel like I'm back in recording. He's like, okay.
This scene.
Here's the real advice. have you been to France?
Oh yeah.
And she's like, no. And he's like, you go to Paris? And you look at the Eiffel Tower, and you go up on the Eiffel Tower, and if you get up there and you want to kill yourself still, then do it. And she's like, wow, you know, my life's really turned around now.
The movie should have had an epilogue where she goes to Paris.
Yeah.
The thing that really gets to me about this movie, apart from the fact that it's very racist, is the fact that Joe, he's like, I've just got all this homespun wisdom that no one wants to hear. He uses the phrase homespun wisdom, and
I feel like it's at least twice too, like that specific phrase.
And it's like, why are you so allegedly wise? You're not particularly aged. You're not like, I don't know why he's supposed to be so wise. I just spit everywhere. I don't know why he's supposed to be so wise. Like, he works in a bar. I guess, I don't know.
It's because he talks to so many people, you know? His social skills are just so good.
He has that one guy in his bar every day and no other customers.
Yeah,
he's got that one alcoholic at his bar
that loves him. I posited...
I'm gonna move this.
There was a scene...
Or to be safe.
There was like a scene where...
The Four Loko
Four Loko Gold.
Visible.
Oh, fuck.
Four Loko Gold. What is your bullshit you're on now?
It's premium.
Well,
what's the
watched
difference
Loqueesha.
between...
Well, that's true. This is like...
Well, actually, there is an immediate distinct difference. This has 2% more alcohol.
And it's also filled with
Wait,
gold.
is it more than juice? The like Four Loko side thing? There's like a one called juice spelled with two
Do we
O's.
have to talk about Four Loko? Do we have to talk about Four Loko on this podcast?
Oh, no. You're talking, my man.
We're gonna get a takedown notice from Four Loko.
Oh, no, they love this shit because like I haven't died yet. I've drank more than 10 Four Locos in the last year and I'm still alive.
Does this make us influencers?
Yo, let's get Four Loko as a sponsor.
First sponsorship.
Oh, yeah.
It tastes like Monster energy drink, but like with just like a metric ton of nail polish remover.
Okay, we gotta talk about the end of Loqueesha.
There was a point in the movie when he's like talking to his son where I had like a real moment of like, is this some taxi driver shit?
Oh yeah.
Is this like some Nightcrawler shit where I'm supposed to be against Joe? Because he just like destroys everyone's lives, and like he's kind of like a sociopath, and like because it's the scene with his son where his son's like, Dad, you didn't need to do this. And it's like supposed to be heartwarming because it's like, oh, his son loves him for who he is.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, you didn't need to do this, Joe.
We wouldn't be able to do like all the fun stuff we used to.
Yeah.
But I still love you, Dad.
Yeah.
And then Dad's like, I'm gonna go be racist on the radio.
So,
forever.
Yes, we can't not discuss.
With the conclusion, he's not racist for a while. He's racist forever.
the craziest shit, this is to me the thing that sums up, this encapsulates his
thesis.
his psychopathology.
Yes.
This guy, where he reveals himself as Loqueesha, and of course everyone is mad, and as they should be. And then he's talking to his mother, and his mother's like, "What? Why didn't you tell me?" And he says, "Mom, I never told you I wasn't Loqueesha." This line is delivered in just a straightforward fashion, like, excuse me? Like, if someone said that to me, I would be like, excuse me, motherfucker?
Joe also posits, and the record guy, or like the radio guys also agree with him, that Loqueesha isn't racist, because Loqueesha is a fictional character. This is like a big thing where he's like, Loqueesha's... No, this isn't... No, I'm not being racist. Loqueesha's a fictional character.
Yeah. So
which really opens the door for a lot of fictional characters.
Jim Crow.
I was gonna say
The Loco Bandito.
Yeah, Loco Bandito.
Not
Not
racist.
racist.
He's fiction. He's not real.
round table here. Just final thoughts on Loqueesha. Then we're gonna go to.
Well, we gotta talk about the very end.
The percentages. The vote.
We've tried to stop this conversation several times,
No,
but it's
Loqueesha
just
doesn't
it's
stop.
too high.
Literally just two more things. One, his girlfriend, of course, is like, his love interest is like mad at him for 30 seconds, and then she's like, oh, but okay. And she forgives him.
She calls him a racist and outlines why he's a racist, and then he says, but I love you. And she says, well, me too. And then they sleep together immily.
And also, there are several times in the movie, but where they're like, yeah, his love interest is like, Joe, you're a genius, but what you did was wrong. And it's like, okay, well, I don't agree that he's a genius.
Oh, he has her call in, or she calls in to Loqueesha to ask her advice about Joe, and then he uses that as a chance to set up and like a date with her, and it's like and then she calls up and he's like, wow, I wasn't expecting you to call. And that's because Joe's a sociopath.
Yeah.
And he uses the people around him for his own personal gain to no end.
I do like how that date concludes, because they go back to her place and it's a setup like they're gonna like hook up or something, and it gets there and he's like, no, I can't, no, and in a panic he just leaves.
We haven't even gotten to like we don't need to, but like there's like a whole lot of gay and trans panic in this movie.
Yeah, there sure.
Oh yeah,
is.
doesn't know what a gay person
Every
is.
single time he tells somebody that he's Loqueesha or like attempts to, they rebuttal with, "Are you gay?"
Well, it's specifically because he
it's not
describes
even,
it
"Are you
like,
trans?" It's like yeah, it's so like fucking throwbacky that doesn't even really become
it's like from the 80s.
It's his producer, the one and only black guy in the movie, is the one that says, I sent it to the group chat last night. Well, you're not one of those transgender transracials, are you?
Yes.
That's the exact line. It was so bad that it's ingrained up here from now on.
This is a very progressive movie.
The movie posits several times that if you're a gay man, that means that you're a woman trapped in a man's body.
Yeah.
And that means you're a gay man. They specifically outline that that's the condition several times. So that's tough.
So the end of the movie.
Yeah, let's focus on this ending.
We got to escape.
Okay,
here's the thing. There's so much to talk about with this movie.
Yeah.
We got to like tuck and roll out.
Yeah, but the very ending of the movie is he reveals himself to his bosses who didn't know. They had plausible deniability until this point, which they point out, and then it's like, well, we'll put it up to a vote so the audience can vote. The audience can vote. There are 3 options for the audience to vote, and 2 of the options are fairly unacceptable. But one option is Joe is fired, get out of Dodge, run out of town on a rail. The other option is continue to do the show, but do it as Joe, not a minstrel character. The third option is continue to do the show as Loqueesha, even though everyone knows it's a white man.
Yes.
And why doesn't someone tell us, how the vote breaks down?
50-50.
Nope.
Well, you see.
It's like what is it? 30.
Nope. Someone more competent to it.
Okay. Well, what happens is, the way it's revealed
is serious business.
The way it's revealed is especially bad because it's not.
Ghost just flew out of his body.
It's like
the way it's presented in Paste is like terrible. It's like the worst way they could have done it, even just for like pacing reasons. Because the guy like calls him up and he's like, 20% of the vote said that you shouldn't do any show, which immediately like cuts the stakes.
Yeah,
because that means he's safe immediately.
Yeah,
he's like, well, 20% of people say that you shouldn't do either show, so fuck those guys, they're out. And then Joe's like, wow, haha, that's great news. I'm so happy I get to keep being on the radio. And the guy's like, well, hold on, you're actually double successful. The rest of it went down 40-40. But you got to do both shows now. And Joe's like, haha, okay.
And they do the shows back to back.
Yeah. And let me explain what's wrong with this.
Finally, we can get down to
we're finally closing arguments.
The moral of the story is ostensibly, be yourself. But this is undercut massively because he continues to be Loqueesha as well as himself.
We didn't even get to talk about how like the one like black woman who like stands up to him gets cut down for being a worse Loqueesha than him. She's like, no, I'm just gonna. It's not right that you're giving like advice as a black woman to women anyway. I'm gonna take control of the show.
Can we pull the plug on Loqueesha?
Well, I feel like I had one more thing to say.
We almost made it up, but there's so many holes.
What do you possibly want to talk about more?
I don't know.
Here's my other reason why Loqueesha's racist.
I feel like
you get it yet.
We can make a 10 video series on what's wrong with Loqueesha.
There's top 10 problems with Loqueesha.
We're going to take a little breather here so everyone can... Off camera, we can shot about how racist Loqueesha... more Joe than... Well, Loqueesha, I guess, is racist, too. Anyways.
It's an offensive... It's worth pointing out...
Loqueesha's not racist. She's a fictional character.
It's worth pointing out, though, the movie is offensive even apart from the racism.
Yeah, it's just a bad movie.
It also looks fake.
It's like poorly put together.
Movie.
There's that fucking scene where it's just shot like he's Dracula or like Morticia Addams.
Oh, yeah!
And there's just like the light like right on Joe's eyes in the scene, like he's hypnotizing someone.
I don't remember any of this.
It's like it's such a buck wild scene.
We're gonna actually go to a break. But before we go to the break, or rather during the break, you guys friends with this person? I don't know this person, so I don't want to sit on camera and be like,
It's our friend Jet. You want to take it away, Eric?
Our friend Jet is in a band called From Under the Floorboards, and he just put out a new EP, and it kicks ass. And you should check it out.
I think his band should recommend our podcast. Our podcast shouldn't recommend his band.
I think
there's some they've signed a contract,
some synergy.
Yeah,
He wrote a song about it.
Yeah, I think that actually Jet's next EP is going to feature a track where it's just him giving a general sort of spiel about our podcast.
Yeah,
and
I think it's
very
ideal.
Spoken word record.
I think it's ideal that this
Family
contract
Man.
was inked before this episode about Loqueesha.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't bring it up unless like money was being deposited right now.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
This is
we're on that
already done.
payola, motherfuckers.
This is already done.
We're gonna go ahead and play a song, which might be something that we're gonna do in the future for our breaks. You know, I like the idea of in the last episode we showed a funny video that we all thought was haha funny.
Can we cut in footage of like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 under it or something?
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, let's do that.
Underneath the song.
I mean, make sure that we at least get like the album artwork and everything. But I do think that
It's up already.
It's very skate punk. So
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
Ethan's-
like,
I was gonna say maybe just like a really compressed JPEG of Tony Hawk's face.
Ethan's gonna draw a really funny picture of the fictional character Loqueesha skateboarding.
We'll be right back.
I don't know if I can keep up this so true.
man's hand in here.
If your lizard pisses in my beer,
I'm gonna piss in your mouth.
I'm gonna get you.
That didn't go great.
Honestly, you should take one was the best.
A Clint Eastwood film.
Fucker, did you die on me?
Don't you die on me.
Hold on, Lord. Or do it like you're doing the noise real quick. Just bring it up.
What do you mean?
Center it
Just-
and just
just make the noise.
like open the mouth.
I just don't understand why you won't do your Loqueesha impression.
I'm like mad this stopped working.
Hope you enjoyed that song. Loqueesha is done. No more discussion on Loqueesha.
Excuse me.
Before we actually get into video games, because I know that's the topic we really want to get to, Eric and I want to talk about music real quick. So this new Slipknot album.
Yeah, so I want to say that first and foremost, I am not exactly the most hardcore fan of Slipknot. I grew up playing video games that had a lot of Slipknot in them. A little PSP game called Infected that maybe 4 people in the world have played, where you can play as the members of Slipknot and kill zombies.
Hold on. Did you just bring up the PSP game Infected?
Yes, I did.
I actually know what you're talking about.
Yes,
It
all
happens
of the
on Christmas-
members
it happens
of Slipknot circa 2005.
It happens on Christmas
So
Day,
they're all
right?
alive at that point.
Yes, Paul is still alive. All playable in this game. And I remember because like the game has like a really limited soundtrack, but it kind of kicks ass. It's like nothing but like new metal and like that weird like Trivium sort of like pseudo thrash shit.
Yeah.
And it's all real good. Holy shit. Pulse of the Maggots is in the game and it just played on repeat and it became like my favorite song when I was a kid.
Does it have the siren?
Yes.
Line? Oh my god.
And it's fitting for the game. Infected's like a jokey game, but like it's kind of terrifying when you have a game that drops you in Central Park and you hear sirens all of a sudden and see zombies flooding at you. And the sirens are part of the song.
Who's ever heard a siren in New York City?
Woof.
That's shit. Sorry.
What the fuck just happened?
But yeah,
It was like a fly, like right
so
here.
I
just
digress.
noticed
I
it.
have a vague, spotty history of Slipknot, and I had heard interesting things about the new album, and so I checked it out. And
So
I dig it a
have
lot.
I was gonna say avid. I'm not gonna say avid.
Come on, lean into it.
I've been a pretty decent fan of Slipknot since the 5th grade.
If you're gonna drink from this cup, drink deeply.
Yeah, I guess. I discovered Slipknot on the Amplitude soundtrack for PS1 or PS2.
I didn't play the original Amplitude. What song was that?
It had "I Am Hated."
Did it?
Yes.
Which one came? Frequency was the second
Frequency came
Was the first one.
Okay,
and
that's
then
what.
Amplitude
Yeah,
was the one that had the license.
I have
soundtrack.
Frequency. I don't have Amplitude.
Yeah. Frequency is all sort of music that was made in house at Harmonix, but Amplitude was where I learned about Garbage, Weezer, and Slipknot.
Yeah, wasn't it like Blink 182 on there too?
Yes, First Date was on there.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah.
The Resident Evil movie came out when I was in 5th grade.
Oh yeah,
And
buddy.
that movie ends, the credits roll, and My Plague by Slipknot starts, and it just fucking like kicked a door open in my mind, and I had no clue what I was missing out on in my life.
So slightly tangential because I also learned of a new metal band via the Resident Evil movies.
Is it Il Nino?
No, it was Killswitch Engage.
Oh, yes.
At the end of the second one,
Yes.
Apocalypse, it plays End of Heartache. And I was like, wow, this speaks to my damaged heart. And then I played Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, hell yeah.
I have a distinct memory of going to my grandmother's house on Easter, the year that the Resident Evil movie came out, reading
It's really Easter classic.
reading a Resident Evil novel.
Second coming.
Yo!
And
Okay,
then-
that's its
and
own
then
conversation.
Yes, and then listening to Iowa on repeat on the holiest of holy days.
Would you call this a defining moment in your life?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something that I think about
What's
and
it
go,
like
this is
to be
so
a heretic?
cartoonish. But like
But that's me.
the new Slipknot, We Are Not Your Kind, is their best since Iowa, like hands down.
What's that track? Because like Unsane It Is Good. That's like the lead
Yes.
single that came off of it. It has that weird like you can't always get what you want like Rolling Stones like child choir that just sounds ugly and works really well in the context of the song. There's one song, it's like Slove Firth or something like that. It's like
The last one where he puts on an English accent for no reason.
that's rough. That's like real rough.
But it's awesome.
But the rest of but the song is so fucking heavy.
yeah. There are definitely moments on this album that like there's some clear Slayer influence. There's a song that is just it has the worst chorus on the entire album, but it straight up sounds like raining blood.
Oh.
Raining blood.
Yeah, that's a patented Tom Araya screech.
It's been really nice to have a legitimately good Slipknot album, and not like, oh yeah, here's a new Slipknot album, and this song's good, and then you can forget about the rest of the album. And especially after the Gray Chapter.
I haven't actually even listened to that.
The cover art to the Gray Chapter looks like a Party City ad.
The thing is,
you're so funny to me.
You're not wrong.
You're right. You're right.
If that picture was used for anything else, I would love the aesthetic of that picture so much because it's like
a punk album or something.
Yeah, it's like that cheap Hot Topic bullshit that's on that cover, and that's what makes it cringy for Slipknot because they mean it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, exactly. I would love that photo
sexy skeleton
if it were not Slipknot.
Yeah.
Even though I'm willing to go on record that I'm a maggot for life.
Fuck.
That could be the name for the episode.
Maggot for life.
No one's into this idea.
I'm seeing them on
only
this
if
coming
there's an
Sunday,
arrow
and
playing and
I'm
with a
really
red
excited
circle.
to see them live.
Is it like with the Knotfest tour or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I unfortunately have to sit through Volbeat beforehand, which I'm not looking forward to.
I had a friend in high school I'm not friends with anymore who was super enthused about Volbeat. The Volbeat thing didn't have to do with us not being friends anymore, but let me tell you.
Was it taken into consideration at least?
It was one of many microaggressions that all led to one large,
macroaggression.
Yeah.
The plus side of that tour, though, is that Behemoth and Gojira are both on it.
Holy fuck.
I'm not super into either of those, but I'm really excited to just see them
Gojira
live.
kicks ass. Behemoth I wasn't into until I saw them live open for Slayer. Fucking amazing.
They're really good and they have great stage presence. I love Gojira.
Yeah, Gojira's great.
They're really good. When I saw them about a year ago at a metal festival in Montreal, and the pit that got going up for that was just insane. I mean, like full on, just like clouds of dust. There was just no escaping it. If you were in like the front half of the audience.
I mean, my mom and I are the ones going to see Slipknot.
Oh yeah, you said that before. That's
so like
bless. That's really good.
When I saw them 15 years ago, my mom was the one to take me to that too.
Yeah.
And that was Slipknot and Slayer, which like I don't have like any like super affinity for Slayer by any means. Like sure,
I love Slayer, but Slayer sucks.
They're a super important metal band, I guess.
They're good music for a big angry.
Yes,
that's all.
And that's sort of how I feel about Slipknot too, because all of Slipknot songs sort of fall into this. I'm not like you, Normie.
Yeah,
and like so like it's. I say I'm a huge fan of Slipknot, but like I understand that there is this level of cheese to them that you have to cut through before you can get to the
you gotta cut the cheese.
That's
before
all
you
new
get into
metal. That's all new metal, though. It's all like super edgy. Like, Mom, you don't understand.
I don't know if I can accept Slipknot under the banner of new metal, and I know that's stupid because there are 3 solid albums where it is straight up new metal. But Iowa and the self-titled are like, they're so much closer to like thrash to me than they are new metal. But I know they're new metal. Well, so I'm not gonna die on this hill.
Well, I will also make the argument that new metal, at least in my opinion, is also reflective of an aesthetic and an era.
Yes,
and not necessarily just a sound, because there's a lot of bands that fall under new, like Deftones falls under new metal,
which is weird.
But it's just of their era.
Only their first album really sounds like
right.
New metal,
but that's what I mean by like new metal is also kind of a general era in my opinion. So it's like, yeah, they're a new metal band that they came from that era and they have the aesthetic of the era. Their genre might not still be that, but that's just kind of, they're at least partially new metal because of that.
Yeah, you can say that about a lot of genres and scenes. A lot of artists get put in like a box because of that.
Yeah. I mean, because Slipknot never really dropped the edgy bullshit aesthetic with the masks and stuff. And it's fun. It's a fun live show.
I mean, the whole album is new metal. So, but whatever.
Yeah.
There's one song off of We Are Not Your Kind that is... almost a Korn ripoff song, and it's maybe the hardest song on the album, and I fucking love it. It's one of those things where it's just like, man, this is just a Korn song, but Korn is so goddamn lame. I cannot get into that band to save my life.
One of my best friends has always loved Korn, so because of her, like, I've kind of just been like, yeah, they have good singles. Yeah, like Korn, not a good band, but also I get it. I saw them live.
I met Brian Headwelch once. He was nice.
That sounds
a good Christian boy.
I hope so. Oh, is that the one?
He is like born again, I think.
Yeah, he's born again.
Yeah, the bass player.
I wanted his born again. On the other hand, it made him stop using heroin. So you win some, you lose some, I guess.
It's going to be interesting to see their show because I think they're now only 8 members. I don't think they have.
What's his face? The one dude.
Clown.
Not even. Is Clown still with them?
So it's unfortunate. It's number 3, Chris Fenn.
One of their keg thumpers got removed.
Yes. Yeah, that was.
And there's not a lot out there for a professional keg thumper.
Yeah. But now they've got Tortilla Man.
A mystery percussionist.
Oh yeah, Mystery Tortilla Man.
I understand why they don't want like these non-members to like be like outed, but just you Slipknot, you gotta have a well of names that goes beyond Tortilla Man.
Well, also I think the other issue is like you can't. The whole nameless ghouls thing doesn't really work in a band like Slipknot at all.
Because everyone knows who they are.
Yeah, it's like you should literally just kill the mystery. Yeah. And like
when Corey Taylor,
it distracts from what they're trying to do.
When he's wearing a mask as Slipknot, and then he's on his off time, just in general being involved with Stone Sour, it's over.
Yeah, like
so that was the other thing I wanted to say about this album was that like. A couple things that I've disliked about the most recent Slipknot albums is that there's too much of Stone Sour that bleeds into Slipknot.
Any amount of Stone Sour is too much Stone Sour.
Yes, exactly.
I also agree with that.
But there's a really good balance on this new one where like it starts to sort of feel like a Stone Sour song. Like there's I think it's called A Liar's Funeral that starts out with this like really pretty acoustic guitar, Corey's like soft voice singing over it, but then the second portion of that song is like the grimiest shit I've ever heard. It's so heavy that like it just totally drowns out all that acoustic shit, and like I don't know. I
think what we're getting to here is acoustic music, lame and for wimps.
No.
Heavy music, strong and for cool guys. That's what Ant said. That's Ant's stance.
Ant's stance. Welcome to Ant's stance.
New segment.
Can you throw that? Just
Ethan, can you do like a few like 5 or 6 quick animations?
Yeah.
For this like segment.
Do like a cool thing here.
Like
do 5 or 12
Star Wipe.
Motion capture sequences.
We're gonna do like a 3D model of Ant and then just like rig it so it's just like
Orange Justice.
Do a little animation of Ant doing a horse dance. Getting down real low and powerful.
Do the end of Passion of the Christ.
Okay, I like where this is going.
But like faster and cooler.
Yeah, but faster and cooler.
Put some ska behind it. Welcome to Ant Stands.
I want to see bloody Jesus Christ like skanking.
No, there's a part with dancing crucified Christ in The Clockwork Orange.
How did I forget about that?
Wait, when?
It's like there's Alex.
I don't remember that.
Alex in his room has a statue that's like 4 Christs with a crown of thorns.
Yes.
And Stanley Kubrick does like a montage, so they're like dancing Christs, but he does like a little montage, so it's edited to look like they're dancing.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I don't remember this.
Wow.
At all.
Yeah, I somehow
That's
don't.
Wild.
So you're all welcome.
But my last thing I wanted to say about the new Slipknot record is actually, you know what? No, you go ahead.
I had nothing.
I think you and I are the only ones that have wanted to talk about Slipknot.
I was gonna say, did somebody say video games? But I feel like for a minute there, all structure dissolved as we talked about
one more
Jesus
thing about
Christ.
All I was gonna say is I like the diversity of influences. There's some tracks in there that really like even pull from like new wave, like not new wave, but like post punk like synth.
There's
like,
a couple songs on there that like sound like a scrapped Marilyn Manson song.
It's a wild.
Marilyn Manson new wave.
Influenced by it, I'd say.
No, I get that he's like goth industrial, but like they're more so in like the synthesizers that they're using.
At least early Manson. Now he's more of like a sad, sweaty clown.
Yeah.
Speaking of sad, sweaty clowns, ICP. Also, let's talk about fucking video games. You can just piss all over the place in Death Stranding.
Yes, it's a weapon according to.
It's a weapon and a tool.
Kojima. Throw a picture of him right here.
What the fuck's that?
Hold it for a while.
Pissmaster Hideo Kojima.
Spin it around.
Make it go. Okay, make it go in.
You joke.
Right.
You joke. But
is the piss to be
Kojima
used,
loves piss.
Is the piss to be used against ghosts?
Oh my god, I can only hope.
Is piss ever used not against ghosts?
Do the ghosts like the piss or hate the piss? I haven't seen the trailer.
I still haven't seen
It's
this
me,
new
Casper,
footage.
So
I
it's
haven't
large.
either.
It's largely it's like 3 or 4 vignettes, like about 2 to 3 minutes long, each, and they one of them is just straight up gameplay, and that's where we see
caress
Norman
her.
Reedus just whip out his Norman
now.
penis and just like he makes a mushroom by urinating in one concentrated spot. Now here's the most important part about this.
That's how that works.
The UI displays, when you enter piss mode, the UI displays how many milliliters of urine are still in your
That's
bladder.
amazing.
Did they ever mention how you restore your piss? I assume by drinking water.
And then if you continue to piss, because don't worry, the person playing tried to do this. Good old Norman says like, the tank's empty or something like that. It's like,
So
Can you
I wonder if
Can
he's
I
got,
piss
like,
on Guillermo del Toro's face in this game?
Can you make Norman Reedus pee into his own mouth? Or is that illegal?
I'm gonna say you can try at very least, and that counts for something.
Can you lay prone and piss on yourself?
You think there's going to come a moment in the game where the fluid in the BB pod needs to be filled?
Oh no, it's also an amber liquid. I don't like that.
Yeah.
So Death Stranding
compare colors.
simultaneously makes more and less sense the more I see of it. The basic like slug line of the game makes sense to me now, but like the intricacies and
The slug line?
well, the idea is that you are essentially, you know what a slug line is?
Well, with this, it could literally be a line about a slug. I mean, there's a lot of things
Yeah.
going on with this game.
Well, from what I
I just
understand,
didn't know. I know what a
could
slug
be
line is.
wrong,
What is the slug line? I feel like
the basic idea of the game is that some sort of apocalyptic event has happened. A large population of the Earth is essentially dead or something, and you are acting as some sort of agent who goes from community to community, restoring some sort of network. And notice I'm saying some sort and other vague words like that.
And it's a Strand game.
It's a Strand game.
Our favorite genre.
So I
Strand.
say that I understand it, but I literally, again, when I say understand it, I mean in the vaguest and most general of ways. I do think that you can sort of parse out what it is at this point.
I am very excited for Death Stranding. Like, without a doubt. I think one of the things going into this that I'm already tired of, and I mentioned this to you guys when we saw Midsummer about Tarantino.
Mm-hmm.
I am so tired of what a genius he is already.
Yeah.
His genius is exhausting. I agree.
He's too smart.
I'm so... Oh, okay.
Are we talking about Quentin Tarantino or Hideo Kojima?
Yeah, they're
Kojima.
both overpoweringly intelligent.
What is it with auteurs and fetishes? Like,
I don't know.
That's my question.
I don't know. Not that
Have
I'm
we
any
nailed
better.
down Kojima's
Like, I'm not
fetish? 'Cause
gonna...
I feel like
No. I'm not exactly out here pointing fingers at Kojima or Tarantino.
if Kojima
Those are tame things to be into, but like still.
If Kojima has a fetish, I have not yet cornered it.
It's clearly piss. Because when you said... When you mentioned
I'm
that
literally
to me,
not kidding. Yeah.
someone posted a screenshot from every single game that he's made
Yeah.
where there is a character full on pissing. If not being pissed on, pissing.
There is like actual
Where is
disc.
there a piss on scene?
MGS2.
It's also in 4.
Fat Man
it
roller
happens in
skates up to you.
5.
Oh, you're right. Now, to be fair,
I
in Metal
don't
Gear
believe
Solid
it happens
5,
in
you
3.
can also lay under a horse and request that it defecate on your face.
Yes.
In one,
Do it.
like wolves piss on you, but
Yes.
that's more contextual. That's still weird though.
Well, Otacon pisses himself.
Oh, yeah.
Otacon does.
and
His
two,
sister
little
does.
yeah.
Akiba is Akiba.
Akiba?
Regardless, like I went down a rabbit hole and I bought like an
John
ebook
Wick.
that's just like a bunch of
Oh, that's
a bunch of
Sasaki.
academic
Johnny
essays on Metal
Sasaki.
Gear Solid and
But he
the
makes-
various like
he makes the
central
other.
thematic points of each game. In MGS3, I'm not going to talk about this at length, but MGS3 specifically focuses on like who's the author of the Bond novels?
James Bond? I don't know.
Yes, James Bond.
James Bond wrote him.
Ian Fleming.
I really
Yeah, MGS3 is like a send-up of Ian Fleming, like 007 novels, obviously, to some extent. But it also shares, like, a very specific, like, bend toward, like, this weird pseudo-sexual, like, this is a weird thing to get into, like conception of shame and of having your status removed from you. And MGS, most of the series of Metal Gear Solid does touch upon this, but MGS3 is like the focal point of where that occurs.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of, like very sexual torture that happens in Metal Gear Solid 3, and very bad things happen to you. And I don't know, it's interesting because, like, on the one hand, I love joking about this, but I think that, like, 4 and 5 are kind of joke games for me at this point, but I still think that no matter what, there's always a byline throughout everything he's ever done that in some way feels like a person grappling with their proclivities and their own psychology, I guess. But, yeah, you can piss everywhere in Death Stranding, folks.
We can just wrap up if you want. We talked about pissing.
Yeah.
We talked about
That's
this.
all that
This
really
is already
matters.
very long.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Just more piss.
Just show me the piss, please.
Instead of talking about more games with maybe more piss in it, I think we're gonna go home. We greatly appreciate you watching the show and supporting us. It's something that I'm very happy with. And if you have any questions for us, you can hit us up on our social media page. We're gonna just put that here. It's not ready yet, so just go ahead and put the links right on the screen here. Or leave a comment down below in the video. That would be wonderful. And I think that's. Does anyone have? Do we want to go down the line here? Do we have any closing final thoughts?
I was just gonna say that kind of reminded me real quick. I think it'd be interesting if we did have our audience, or whoever is watching it, if anyone is watching and wants to say something, give us talking points.
Yes, exactly. Like, so it's not just like, if you have a question for us, send it our way. If there's a discussion topic that you want us to go over, send that our way as well. All of that is greatly appreciated, especially feedback as well. It's only the second episode, really the third episode if you count the test one. There's still things that we're working out on.
Does Zilla have something that she would like to say?
Can I hold Zilla for a second? Can I do a little Zilla bit?
Yeah, no, you have to through me.
Okay. Come back next week when we talk about Albert Fish some more!